Coordinating the speed of all of the components in the computer is essential if we're going to move data properly. One of the advantages of a PCI card is that it automatically configures itself properly at a speed lower than the speed of the memory bus. In most computers, a PCI card will configure itself at half of the speed of the memory bus, and in the newer computers, which are faster, a PCI card will configure itself at approximately 1/3 of the speed of the memory bus. Another way that we control speed is we set a multiplier that determines the speed of the CPU. For example, if we're going to install a CPU that's at 350 megahertz, and we have a system board with a memory bus that runs at 100 megahertz, then we would need to set the multiplier at 3.5. Some examples of configuration of speed are CPU, which is processor speed equals memory bus times the multiplier. Typical speeds of processors, 350 megahertz, 450, 500 megahertz, and so on. Typically, this is set by a jumper or a dip switch, or possibly on the system board in CMOS. Memory bus speed, which is recommended by the manufacturer based on the type of processor and its rated speed. Typical values are 66 megahertz, 100 megahertz, 133 megahertz. Many system boards can run at different speeds depending on which processor we put in. And typically that's set by a jumper or a dip switch. Sometimes can be set in the CMOS, but it's most commonly set by a jumper. PCI cards, as we spoke of before, automatically configure themselves at 1/2 or 1/3 of the system bus speed, the memory bus speed. And an ISA bus is not really configurable, but it runs at a consistent speed of 8.77 megahertz, which is certainly going to be slower than the memory bus on most computers. So as you can see, speed and coordination of speed is a tremendously important factor in computing. So to summarize what we've learned in this chapter, the system board is the central site of computer logic circuitry. It's the location of the most important microchip, which is called the CPU. It contains all the buses which carry data and electricity, and speeds can be configured for the board and for the other components, allowing a coordination of timing and efficiency of processing power. So now, in our next chapter, let's learn more about memory.